Am I the asshole for serving my husband's family mac and cheese for dinner?
No.
She goes on to say, my, and then in brackets, Asian husband and I, American. So she says, we welcomed our firstborn 4 weeks ago. The baby is healthy, but I'm exhausted. Haven't fixed my hair, barely able to shower, and cannot sleep. My husband's family has been pressuring us to visit to meet the baby. I tried to hold them off as much as I could, but yesterday I was surprised to find them standing on the porch. Turns out my husband invited them for dinner. I was embarrassed and felt like I wasn't ready for visitors because the house was a mess, y'all. My husband sat with them while I fed my son. Then later I asked my husband if we should order takeout for dinner. He said no, because his parents would find this rude and unwelcoming. He suggested that I go inside the kitchen and prepare something, anything as long as it's homemade. I said I was fine, then went and made some mac and cheese. The reason I prepared this meal is because of how easy it is. Once I served the family, my husband's mom looked at me and was appalled. She asked if I really found it appropriate to serve her and her family mac and cheese. I asked why not, and she went on a rant about how disrespectful this was and that I clearly have no experience in what is right and wrong when it comes to hosting. I said, excuse me, who said I signed up to host and expected a visit from them, and she took it as if I didn't want them there. Her husband said that they were just there to finally see the baby that I've kept them from seeing for an entire month. That's a whole month of his life they quote-unquote missed out on. We had an argument and they decided to go home. My husband said that deciding to serve his family mac and cheese was more offensive than serving them nothing at all. I told him I was too exhausted to cook their traditional feasts that I was forced to learn from his mom. He took offense and said that I was being mean and disrespectful towards not only his family, but his culture. I went inside the bedroom to stay with my son. My husband stayed on the phone with his family for an hour, then kept giving me a cold shoulder and refused to eat what I cook in support of his family. I understand how some guests might find it offensive, especially his family, but I was just trying to make a quick homemade meal like my husband wanted. What's wrong with mac and cheese? Am I the asshole?
People who got their bosses fired. How? Management was giving an injured worker crap, not wanting to pay him, accusing him of gold bricking. Worker said, tell you what, do the right thing here or you will be sorry. Management said take your best shot. Worker called the EPA and APCD, told them where to find the logs that showed discrepancies in toxic material storage and usage. Sheriff's deputies showed up and raided the offices. Field supervisors from 10 years ago that had retired got subpoenaed. It was epic. Cost the company massively in fines and remediation. All because they wanted to F with one poor employee. Worked register at a tour company. I also had a manager who effing hated me for some reason. She was probably the B-wordiest person I've ever met. Constantly yelled at us for no reason, got on to me about answering questions a new hire had, when I was asked, not her, wrote down I was 30 minutes late for a shift when I was 2 minutes late, etc. etc. We had a sneaking suspicion that she was taking money from our tills, as she was always the one who counted down the till when someone got fired for stealing cash. I made it a habit to count down every bill when I gave it back to a customer, because we would get paid docked if we were even $1 off. So if a customer had $23 in change, I'd count 20, 1, 2, 3 in front of them, so I knew I'd given back the right amount. We also had cameras pouring at the registers. Well, one day my GM pulls me aside and says $20 was missing from my till and they were going to fire me. I straight up told my boss she could look at the cameras, because I counted out all my bills for customers. Lo and behold. B-wordy B-word was the one who counted down my till and got caught on tape pocketing the money. She was gone by my next shift. F you Jennifer, I won.
How do I handle this as a mother? False accusations tore our family apart. I have been in a mother's worst nightmare for the last year. A year ago, almost exactly, my daughter accused my current partner of sexual assault. They incurred an investigation and charges laid. Court proceedings are happening just very slowly. However, her father kept me completely in the dark as to what the situation was. My daughter doesn't live with me. She lives full-time with her father, and apparently this happened when she was visiting me for the summer. I have been pursuing court action to be able to talk to my daughter, but it's a slow process. My ex is fighting tooth and nail to keep me from contacting her, with his justification being that I'm still in a relationship with the person that allegedly assaulted her. But basically, through legal proceedings, we are finally able to get her side of the story, and it is absolutely untrue. I can't go into details, but the set of circumstances laid out in her statement absolutely never happened. My take on it is that she saw a video on TikTok or YouTube about someone else's experience, saw all the attention and support they were getting, and decided to make up a story. Direct quote, "My friend and I saw how sympathetic people were being and said, hey, let's get in on this." Unfortunately, her father saw whatever it was she was doing and immediately cut contact with me and went to the police. My ex has hated my current partner since the beginning, but I'm at a complete loss for what to do now. I'm the one that is going to have to testify that there is no way that situation happened, while she is surrounded by people that believe her absolutely. Even though I know for a fact fact that it never happened how she said, the idea of having to get up there and call her a liar is heartbreaking. I feel like it is something that neither of us will recover from. I'm coming to the point where I am soon going to have to actually talk to my daughter about it and have no idea how I'm going to address the fact that she blatantly lied, and that it has completely destroyed our lives. My partner lost access to his own daughter since his charges prevent him any contact with anyone under 16. I haven't been able to talk to my daughter in a year. We've lost friends and family and are going to be out tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees before it's over. I love my daughter, but I'm also intensely angry at her for the horror and trauma we have gone through. I recognize that she might not understand the consequences of her decision and that her father would have been inclined to pursue this even if she tried to tell him it wasn't true. But I just can't disregard all the damage she has caused. And for the record, no, I'm not trying to cover for my partner. If I had any doubt about it actually being true, I would be in a very different place. I wouldn't be willing to testify if I thought there was any possible way it could be true. Oh my god, this made me sad.
Story time. I was the toxic best friend. So a little background information. I was 16 and a sophomore in high school. And at the beginning of the year, I met this girl who we're going to call Riley. Riley and I hit it off straight away. Like a week after knowing each other, she knew everything about me and I knew everything about her. Well, then she tells me about this guy that she's talking to, who we're going to call Jay. She said that they would hook up sometimes and he would text her sometimes. But she said that I couldn't tell anybody because he said that it had to be a secret. So I tried telling her that he sounded like a fuckboy, but she decided she was going to do whatever she wanted. And I was like, okay. So fast forward to the end of the year, he adds me on Snapchat. Okay, don't get me wrong. He was really hot, but I had my own thing going on. So I really didn't pay that much attention to him. And I thought he maybe added me on Snapchat to be like, oh my God, I really like your best friend. And then I also was caught between a rock and a hard place. Do I tell my best friend that the guy that she likes just added me on Snapchat? Or do I lie to her? Well, I was going to tell her until I got a Snapchat from him. So like I said, I didn't know whether I should tell her that he added me on Snapchat or if I should. And I was going to until I got a Snapchat from him saying, hey, you're really pretty. I think we should talk sometime. So I ended up telling her about it because I felt really bad. And she was like, this is why I can't trust girls. Like, you need to unadd him right now. Like, fucking block him. And I'm like, I didn't even do anything. Like, what the fuck? So whatever. I end up blocking him. It's fine. Until he texts me one day. And he's like, hey, it's Jay. I think you blocked me on Snapchat, LOL. And him and I had talked a little bit in school and I kind of started to like him. Well, fast forward, him and I ended up hooking up a few times. We were talking a lot. And he hadn't been texting Riley as much. Well, the one night while I was sleeping over at her house, my phone was going off a lot. And I didn't think to delete any of the messages. So like I said, I was sleeping over her house the one night. My phone was blowing up and she knows my password and everything. And I stupidly did not delete the text messages between Jay and I. And I kid you not, I wake up to a slap across the face. It felt like she slapped me with her fist. And it looked like it too because I had a black eye. So I woke up and she's like, what the fuck? Like, I hate you so much. Like, why would you do this? And I look down and she has my phone right in her hand on the text messages with Jay. And I ended up feeling really bad because she started crying saying that like, I knew that she liked him a lot. And I also knew the reason why he wasn't texting her as much. Well, then she ran downstairs and she told her mom. And the next thing I know, I had her mom, and her 3 other sisters screaming at me. And then I got blocked by Jay because she wasn't supposed to know and she leaked his nudes.
I'm Julia. My sister Alexa and I were blindfolded, riding in the back seat of a car. We didn't know where we were going. Alexa said, Dad told me not to open our eyes or we'll ruin the surprise. I'm so excited. Where do you think we're going? He either got a new yacht or a mansion. Or maybe he got an island again like last time. I really don't care. I'm only here because I don't want to be a party pooper, I replied. Shortly after, the car came to a stop. We got off, still blindfolded. Then we heard Dad's voice. You can open your eyes, girls. Let's see if you'll like this. Dad! I can't believe it! It's incredible! Alexa screamed. I reluctantly took off my blindfold. We were at the airport, and a dazzling plane made of solid gold stood before me. Pointing to the plane, Dad said, I bought this from the Sultan of some country called Brunei. It's not just the surface of the plane. Everything inside is also made of gold. Oh man, I love how gold shimmers. We need more golden furniture at home. I'd stopped commenting on Dad's love for glamour a long time ago, but a solid gold plane was so outrageous that I couldn't stop myself. Dad, when the plane is up in the air, no one can tell it's golden because it's so far away. And when it lands, only the crew will see it at the airport. I really don't understand why someone would buy a golden airplane, I said. He was used to me criticizing him. If I share our plane on my Facebook page, everyone will see it. Your sister will post photos of it on Instagram. I wish you would also post to social media. Anyway, come on. I'll give you a tour inside the plane. We can even fly our golden plane to New York for a coffee. What do you say? He asked. My sister screamed, "Excellent idea!" and started running towards the plane. And I, irritated as always, followed her. As you can probably tell, my dad is one of the wealthiest people on the planet. When we lost my mom, I was 8, and Alexa was 5. My dad wanted to remarry, but we didn't want him to. Thankfully, he listened to us. Back then, my dad wasn't rich. He was working as an engineer for a mobile phone company. With the experience that he had there, he invented a fast mobile phone charger and patented it. Today, all mobile phones use his invention. In exchange for using this technology, phone manufacturers pay millions of dollars to my dad every month. Going from someone who could barely pay his bills to having unlimited money changed my dad a lot. We had no idea he was such a show-off. He will do anything he can to brag about his money. What's worse is my sister is just like him. Ever since he bought that golden plane, Dad became obsessed with gold. He had most of the mansion we lived in covered in gold. We had toilets and faucets made of solid gold. The couch we sat on, the beds we slept in were all golden. We ate our meals with gold silverware on a solid gold table. One evening, Dad took this gold situation to a whole new level. We were in the dining room. Normally, there's a daily menu on the table listing the dishes our cooks have made for us that day. Among the 100 or so dishes, we picked the ones we want to eat. But there was no menu that night. Dad said, "Girls, I got a surprise for you," and clapped his hands. A chef walked into the room. Nikolai is our new chef. He used to be the private chef for a Russian billionaire. His specialty is... Actually, I'd rather not say. You should see this for yourselves. Next, the staff started serving the plates. Each dish was shimmering because they were all covered in gold. Gold-coated steaks, hamburgers, buffalo wings. Alexa was looking around dreamily. "So our new chef makes golden dishes, huh, Dad? That's the coolest thing I've heard in my life!" she exclaimed. Dad said proudly, "Nikolai uses 24-karat gold leaf in these dishes. It's not dangerous because it's edible gold." We were supposed to eat golden food now? This was ridiculous. Dad, are you okay? It's not fair for us to eat food that's made of gold when there's so much poverty in the world. I feel so bad seeing so many people without homes. You, on the other hand, are ordering food to be made with gold? I can't possibly stand for this, I said, and ran out of the dining room. Since then, I've never had dinner with them. According to Alexa, Chef Nikolai was still cooking food with gold. Both my dad and my sister were so happy with it. I hadn't seen my dad in a while. A few days before my birthday, he came to my room. "I know you're mad at me, but I'll make it up to you. You told Alexa that you didn't want a birthday party. I'll honor your wish, but please allow me to at least give you a birthday present," he said. I probably wouldn't like what he had gotten me, but I still said yes. With a strained smile, I replied, "Okay, but please, nothing big." Dad was really happy, and he said, "I'm sure you will love it. You'll even forgive me when you see it." Honestly, I was intrigued. What was he going to give me? I had to wait until my birthday to find out. Finally, the day arrived. Just like all of Dad's surprises, it began with me in a blindfold. Alexa guided me by my arm. We started walking. She was saying we weren't supposed to leave the mansion. Soon after, I realized we were outdoors. Alexa removed my blindfold. We were on the big balcony in the front of the house. When I looked out to the garden, I couldn't believe my eyes. There were hundreds of people down there. It looked like all of them were homeless people brought from downtown. My dad was also on the balcony with us, and there was a big treasure chest right next to him. The chest was chock full of gold coins. Dad picked up a gold coin from the chest and threw it down to the people. And all hell broke loose. The people were fighting each other ruthlessly to catch that gold coin. Sad sight. My dad said, "Happy birthday, honey! This was the birthday gift I was telling you about. You told me you felt sorry for the homeless. There are exactly 1,000 gold coins in this chest. You can throw them all. Wasn't it so fun to see them fight for that one gold coin?" And laughed. I was listening to him in complete shock. "Dad, have you lost your mind? What kind of gift is this? When did you become so heartless?" I said. He got upset. "Julia, you don't like anything anymore. I think it's a great idea. Look, we gathered all these homeless people and brought them here. Do you think that was easy? And most of them will leave here with gold in their pockets. What else do you want? Dad, you don't know me at all. It's utterly cruel to throw gold coins from a balcony onto people and watch them fight each other for them. My father can't be this heartless. That's enough. I am disowning you. You're not my father anymore," I screamed. Both he and my sister were shocked by my words. I didn't want to spend one more second in that house. I returned to my room. I called my mom's sister and told her everything. "Come here. You can live with us," she said. I packed a few clothes and left. As I was leaving through the garden, I saw that they were still throwing coins at people. They were laughing as they watched people fight each other. I felt a deep sense of relief to be leaving this place. 2 weeks passed and I was so happy at my aunt's. I spoke to Alexa on the phone sometimes, but I had to cut off my dad entirely. I had one small issue. I had left my math project at the mansion. It took me so long to do it that I couldn't start over from scratch. I texted my sister that night. I told her that I was going to come early in the morning and wait for her in front of the mansion so she could bring me my project. I went to the house in the morning, but Alexa was nowhere to be seen. I called her. She didn't pick up. I figured she was asleep. It looked like I had to enter the house and get it myself. The security guards were surprised to see me at that hour of the day, but they didn't dare say anything. I greeted them and went inside. I wanted to see my sister before I got the project. Once I was home, I realized that I'd missed her. As soon as I walked into Alexa's room, I started screaming. She was lying on the floor, unconscious and foaming at the mouth. I went to my dad's bedroom to let him know. He was in his bed, but he was also unconscious and foaming at the mouth. I called 911 immediately. The paramedics arrived shortly after. They took my sister and my dad to the hospital. In the hospital, I discovered that both of them had their stomachs pumped. Apparently, they had gold poisoning. Chef Nikolai was trying to make it to the Guinness Book of World Records with the most expensive dessert ever made. To increase its value, he put 5 times the normal amount of gold he puts in his dishes. When my dad and Alexa ingested that much gold, their bodies couldn't handle it. After they got treatment, I was able to see both of them. The doctor said to my dad, "You owe your life to your daughter. If you had come in an hour later, we couldn't have saved you." After a while, they came to visit me at my aunt's house. My dad apologized to me 1,000,000 times. "I don't know how to make you forgive me. You were so right to denounce me as a father. I'm going to do my best to earn the right to be your father again," he said. The next day, he had all the golden objects removed from the house. He had our old furniture brought in, and he obviously fired Chef Nikolai. Yesterday, he sent me a video where he sold the golden plane. He said with the money he got from the sale, he was going to build a modern shelter for people living without a home. It made me so happy to find out about all this. I think I may forgive him, but he has let me down so many times before. That's why I need to wait a bit longer to make sure that he's changed.